The weather. Today is, like Jessica says, October the 20th. And your weather today, it's the high will be 80 degrees and the low will be 52 degrees. On Saturday, the high will be 80 degrees and the low will be 55, partly sunny. On Sunday, well, Jessica, let's see, they're gonna have a parade this tomorrow.
Saturday.
So yeah, this Saturday. So it's gonna be look, sunny, warm, and dry are the watch words for the Cape Fear region this weekend. Fayetteville should reach 80 today, dropping into the mid conditions this evening for prep for football and for homecoming. Will be a bit warmer Saturday and Sunday, and a few clouds returning Sunday evening. Looks like rain early next week.
Alright, today in history. Today is Friday, October 20th, the 293rd day of 2017. There are only 72 days left in the year. Today's highlight. On October 20th, 1967, a jury in Meridian, Mississippi convicted 7 men of violating the civil rights of slain civil rights workers James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner. The 7 received prison terms ranging from 3 to 10 years. In 1714, the coronation of Britain's King George I, took place in Westminster Abbey. In 1803, the U.S. Senate ratified the Louisiana Purchase. In 1947, the House Un-American Activities Committee opened hearings into alleged communist influence and infiltration in the U.S. motion picture industry. In 1964, the 31st President of the United States, Herbert C. Hoover, died in New York at age 90. In 1968, former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy married Greek shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis. In 1973, in the so-called Saturday Night Massacre, Special Watergate prosecutor Archibald Cox was dismissed, and Attorney General Elliot L. Richardson and Deputy Attorney General William B. Ruffles resigned. In 1976-78, people were killed in the North Wayman tanker Foxtrot. The commuter ferry George Prince on the Mississippi River near New Orleans. In 1977, 3 members of the rock group Leonard Skinner, including lead singer Ronnie Van Zant, were killed along with 3 others in the crash of a chartered plane near Macomb, Mississippi. We have some birthdays for today. Japan's Express Machiko is 83. Rockabilly singer Wanda Jackson is 80. Former actress Reverend Mother Dolores Hart is 79. Actor William Rusty Russ is 67. Actress Melanie Mayron is 65. Movie director Danny Bull is 61. Former Labor Secretary Hilda Salas is 60. Actor Viggo Mortensen is 59. Rock musician Jim Sonnenfeld is 53. Rock musician David Ryan is 53. Rock musician Doug Eldridge is 50. Journalist Sunny Hostin, who hosts The View, is 49. Political commentator and blogger Michelle Malkin is 47. Actor Kenneth Choi is 46. Rapper Snoop Dogg is 46. Singer Danny Minogue is 46. Singer Jimmy Westbrook is 46. Country musician Jeff Lawberg is 41. And actor Sam Witter is 40.
All right. Need to know. First, need to know. Pig cook-off pulled pork barbecue is King Saturday during the 14th annual Vander Silver Association Pig Cook-Off. The event begins today at 6 p.m. with the Anything But Barbecue contest. On Saturday, the Pig Cook-Off judging begins at 8 a.m. and barbecue plate sales begin at 11. There will also be a vendors, a car show, at 5 p.m. and music activities take place at Vander Park. That's 128 Rock Hill Road. Second need to know. Old Mill Days Festival. The festival kicks off tonight. A street dance from 6 to 10 p.m. on Trade Street in Hope Mills. There will be food and craft vendors, shopping, entertainment, and more. On Saturday, festivities are at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Hope Mills Municipal Park, including a tractor pull, kids corner, arts and crafts, vendors, food, and more. The event ends with a family movie night on Field 2. Third need to know. Dogwood Fall Festival. The festival continues today and Saturday at Festival Park and downtown Fayetteville will concert and a haunted house, hay rides, and more. Admission to the haunted house, cemetery tour, and the children's area are $10. Hay rides are $5. The concerts are free. 20 rides, a Zach Brown trumpet band, which also performs music with Tom Petty, performed at 8:30 p.m. today. Skydog, which specializes in music of the p.m. October 27th at Gibbons Performance Arts Center at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. Tickets are $10 to $36. For more information, call 910-521-6361. That number again for Gibbons Theater is 910-521-6361.
Okay, we have the live wire service staff section. It's entitled NFL Team Owners Do Not Get a Pass on Taxes. Question: do all professional sports team owners not pay taxes, or is it just football that gets a pass? If the team owners don't want to stand for the national anthem, they should just leave this country and go somewhere else. This is initial SR, Hope Mills. Answer: National Football League team owners do not get a pass on taxes. According to the Hill and American Political Journalism newspaper and website published in Washington, D.C., individual teams pay taxes on their profits and player salaries. Even if the sports leagues even if the sports leagues are considered non-profits, any tax exemption does not apply to individual teams, which must pay taxes on their profits. The tax exemption applies to the Central League offices, which coordinate and manage the affairs of the entire operation. However, the Hill reports NFL teams have received funds from the Defense Department in recent years to promote the military during games. NFL's league office, which handles administrative duties for the league, was once a tax-exempt entity. The league office relinquished its tax-exempt status in 2015 amid public criticism. By the way, Representative Bo Brooks, a Republican from Alabama, is calling for the elimination of all federal support for professional sports leagues, the Hill said. Livewire seeks to answer questions of general interest and consumer topics. Initials are used to identify questionnaires when names are given. Contact Livewire at livewire@fayettevilleobserver.com or at 486-3516.
The next article we have is gerrymandering trial concludes. Judges didn't rule on the case and requested post-trial briefs next month. This is an article by Gary D. Robertson. Greensboro. Attorneys for election advocacy groups and Democrats urged federal judges Thursday to throw out North Carolina's congressional districts for excessive partisanship, but lawyers for the Republicans who drew them say it's best the the judiciary avoid trying to evaluate an inherently political process. The arguments from both sides wrapped up a trial this week involving 2 lawsuits that asked the court to declare a red drawn map for the state's 13 seats and unconstitutional partisan gerrymander. The lawsuits argue that when redoing the map last year, GOP state legislators went too far when they followed criteria designed to retain parties' 10-3 majority. The districts are so lopsided in terms of Democratic or Republican dominance, they violate the free speech and equal protection rights of people, align with the minority party in each district, and give the minority party candidates little chance to win, the plaintiffs argued. The candidate with the smallest margin of victory in November 2016 elections under the new map still won with 50% of the district's vote. The beneficiaries of the favored map's congressional incumbents have no incentive to make their seats more competitive, said Emmett Bondurant, who represented some of the plaintiffs, including the state Democratic Party and the watchdog group Common Cause. And he said the legislator won't stop using political data and partisan considerations. If the problem is to be solved, it can only be solved by the judicial branch of government. Bondurant said during closing arguments before the three-judge panel, adding that the North Carolina map was the textbook example of viewpoint discrimination. The judges didn't rule immediately and requested post-trial briefs early next month. The ultimate ruling could be influenced by a Wisconsin case about which the U.S. Supreme Court held oral judgments in the month of October. Justices previously have suggested partisan gerrymandering could be subject to legal sanctions, but have not made a firm ruling on it. Attorneys for the League of Women Voters of North Carolina and several individual voters who also sued called math and political science experts as witnesses to testify that the only explanation for the makeup of the 2016 congressional map was partisanship.
Community Heroes honored by Steve Devane. A coalition of organizations working on disaster relief efforts honored Thursday those who responded to Hurricane Matthew last year and issued a reminder that some residents still haven't recovered from the storm. The Cumberland County Disaster Recovery Coalition held a Heart of Matthew luncheon at Snyder Memorial Baptist Church. The event was meant to recognize community heroes. Chip Grimmer, chairman of the coalition's Unmet Needs Committee, said money and volunteers are needed to help those who have not yet recovered from the disaster. This is what we do when we love our neighbor as ourselves, he said. We help each other. Steve Rogers, a founding member of the coalition, was honored with a proclamation passed by the County Board of Commissioners. The coalition was formed in 2011 after tornadoes caused widespread damage in the county. Glenn Adams, the commissioner's chairman, said Rogers had the vision to keep the group together so it could deal with disasters such as Hurricane Matthew. Rogers said receiving the proclamation is humbling. He said he has a heart for safety, security, and emergency preparedness. Even though we can't predict the future, we can prepare for it, he said. Rob Robinson, chief executive of Alliance Behavioral Healthcare, said the coalition's collaboration is important to make sure people get the help they need. It's been truly inspiring to see the resiliency of this community in aftermath of Hurricane Matthew, he said. Al Foote, chairman of the coalition, presented a tribute to the first responders who went into flooded areas to rescue residents trapped by rising water. That's just not a simple thing to do, he said. Others honored were Stacy Leach and Andre Fennell for helping 26 residents get out of the Alzheimer's related care facility in Hope Mills, Cumberland County Animal Control for rescuing animals during the storm, Larry Gray for helping his mother and other residents of his neighborhood get away from rising water, and for rescuing a man who fell into an open manhole in the flood waters. The Fayetteville Police Department's Rescue Number 2 unit for rescuing a woman and child who were trapped in a car. The Second Harvest Food Bank's mobile food pantry for taking food and water to residents who did not have transportation. The Cumberland Community Foundation for raising more than $400,000 to help with relief efforts. And the Cumberland County Department of Social Services for working at the Emergency Operations Center, for coordinating the work of relief agencies, and for working at emergency shelters.
The next article we have is Event Draws K9 Teams to Fayetteville. This is an article by Nancy McCleary. The article starts off by more than 110 K9 teams from law enforcement agencies across the United States and Canada came to Fayetteville this week to attend the 2017 International Police Work Dog Association Nationals Conference. The organization provides training for K9 handlers and their dogs to ensure that they are meeting standards and earning certifications for their jobs, said Heather Naper-Alaski of the Fayetteville Police Department. During the annual event, the teams went through training in areas that included building searches, finding hidden compartments, and drug interdiction. More specialized classes included tripwire training that addressed various types of explosives and how to deal with them. A scent theory class taught handlers how a dog's scent skills work and how to make sure the dog is approaching explosives safely. One of the highlights, Naperlasky said, was a class about pressure cooker bombs taught by a Boston police officer who was working when two such devices exploded at the 2013 Boston Marathon. This is the first we've been to, said Chris Lyons of the Quanah County, West Virginia Sheriff's Office. It's been a good experience. 5 department, 7 dogs attended the event, said Lyons, who works with a patrol dog. The Veterinary Tactical Group, a consulting agency in Bass that specializes in medical care for tactical dogs, also provided support. They were awesome, said Nancy D. Martin, a master trainer from Houston. The Onslow County Sheriff's Office sent Deputy Matthew Weber and Sergeant Dawn Jernick to the event. It was a first time for Weber, a K9 officer for about 1.5 years. I love it, he said. There were lots of wise people passing down knowledge. Generic supervises the department's K9 officers. Lastly, he said, we get to work with master trainers and we get a different perspective on what the dogs are doing, she said. And this article was from staff writer Nancy McCleary, and she can be reached at nmccleary@fayeobserver.com or at the following number 486-3568.
Okay, military intelligence soldiers to return to Fort Bragg next week. Fort Bragg soldiers from the 525th Military Intelligence Brigade are returning from Afghanistan next week after a 9-month mission in which they helped detect bombs and assisted in killing or capturing more than 150 enemy fighters. The brigade, part of the 18th Airborne Corps, was deployed throughout Afghanistan, supporting deployed soldiers, airmen, and Department of the Army civilians. Soldiers from the brigade's headquarters, support company, and 519th Military Intelligence Battalion will be welcomed home during a ceremony at Fort Bragg on Monday. While deployed, soldiers from the headquarters support company led a synchronized aerial and ground intelligence surveillance and renaissance with Afghan forces. According to the brigade, their mission in Afghanistan supported ground force commanders, special operators, Afghan National Security Forces, and coalition and interagency partners. They served as the theater's only Army multi-discipline military intelligence ground collection force. More than 200 soldiers and Department of the Army civilians were part of that force. The soldiers tracked more than 28,100 flight hours of aerial assets such as drones and provided oversight of more than 80 operations against threat networks, enabling the reduction of about $95.1 billion of illicit narcotics and detecting more than 200 improvised explosive devices throughout Afghanistan, according to the brigade. Soldiers from the brigade's 519th Military Intelligence Battalion executed more than 620 patrols for intelligence collection, produced more than 8,000 signals intelligence tippers, and created 3,600 tactical and 3,900 human intelligence reports. The efforts drove numerous maneuver operations, resulting in the killing or capturing of more than 150 enemy forces and mitigated countless threats against the coalition, according to the brigade. Last month, about 2,200 soldiers, including 1,200 from the 82nd Airborne Division, began quietly deploying to Afghanistan as part of a long-discussed troop surge that involves more than 3,000 U.S. service members on top of more than 10,000 already serving in Afghanistan. Soldiers from the 1st Brigade Combat Team were alerted to the mission in September and quickly deployed. In Afghanistan, they were reunited with their brigade leadership and about 1,500 soldiers, the brigade who deployed to Afghanistan earlier this year. The Fort Bragg soldiers joined teammates that were already spread throughout the country, from Bagram Airfield and Kabul to Kandahar and Helmand provinces.
Up is the next article. It's an article by Beth Hudson, digital editor. Fayetteville man charged as part of human trafficking crackdown. Detectives with the Fayetteville Police Department's Human Trafficking Unit arrested a Fayetteville man Saturday as a part of Operation Cross Country, a nationwide effort focusing on human trafficking of minors. Michael Earl Rogers, 31 of the 5,400 block of Williamsburg Drive, is charged with felony promotion of prostitution. He was placed in the Cumberland County Detention Center on a $25,000 bail, according to a police news release. The arrest and operation were made possible by coordination with the Fayetteville Police Department, the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, the Lumberton Police Department, the Robeson County Sheriff's Offices, the State Bureau of Investigation, and the FBI, the release said. The FBI announced Wednesday that 84 minors were recovered and 120 traffickers were arrested as part of Operation Cross Country, a nationwide effort focusing on underage human trafficking that ran from October 12th through the 15th. According to a news release from the FBI, the operation took place in 55 FBI field offices and involved 78 state and local task forces consisting of hundreds of law enforcement officers, intelligence analysts, and victim assistance specialists, the release said. 13 law enforcement agencies in North Carolina conducted operations in Charlotte, Raleigh, Fayetteville, and Lumberton. As a result, 11 people were arrested and 3 minors were recovered or were offered assistance from the FBI's Office of Victim Assistance, U.S. Attorney's Victim Assistance, and non-governmental organizations, the release said. As part of Operation Cross Country, federal and local law enforcement personnel staged operations in hotels, casinos, truck stops, on websites, and on street corners. The youngest victim recovered during this year's operation was 3 months old, while the average age was 15. The release said Operation Cross Country is a part of FBI's Innocence Lost National Initiative, which began in 2003 and has yielded more than 6,500 child identifications and locations, the release said. For more information on Operation Cross Country and the Innocence Lost Initiative, go to www.fbi.gov. Anyone who knows someone or who is a victim of human trafficking is asked to contact detectives with the Fayetteville Police Department at the numbers 433-1885 or Crime Stoppers at 483-8477.
Alright, city to consider more locations for skateboard park. The Parks and Recreation Bond Project Committee decided to extend its search for a skateboard park location to include sites not in the downtown area at its meeting Wednesday night. We can't find a place downtown, committee chairwoman Kathy Jenkinson said. There's no reason for us to pay $500,000 for a site. In late September, the committee members and city staff took a bus trip to visit 5 possible sites for the skateboard park. They visited a lot on West Russell Street, Rowan Park at West Rowan Street and Woodside Avenue, Hillsborough Street and Moore Street near the new Operation in as much shelter, West Rowan Street and Bragg Boulevard, where traffic patterns will be altered in the future, and Blunt Street behind the Cumberland County Detention Center. City staff have long favored the West Russell Street location. However, committee members raised concerns about the fact that the current landowner, the A&R Railroad Company, has set the price for the land at more than $600,000. The The Cumberland County tax assessment value is $494,362 for the lot. The park is one of the first phases of projects slated to be created from last year's $35 million Parks Bonds referendum. Other projects authorized as part of the referendum include 3 splash pads and a senior center. There is $1 million slated for the skateboard park, which includes money for the construction of the park and land acquisition required. It was originally scheduled to open this December. The Parks and Recreation Bond Projects Committee also critiqued the first design plan presentation for the Senior Center West location. The Senior Center West will be located in the Lake Rim Park area and will be 18,000 square feet. It is scheduled to be completed by 2019. Most of the committee members raised concerns with the size of the dance studio and fitness center that the design firm HH Architecture based in Raleigh presented to the committee. It has to be bigger, Jensen said. Councilman Bill Griff said he has fielded many questions about the Senior Center West project. He said the designs he saw would not fit enough people. We have lots of older folks waiting for this, Griff said. I too feel it is not large enough. It won't be uncommon to have 20 people in the dance studio. The committee decided to have the design firm make new designs for the center. We don't need to build the Taj Mahal, but we need to get it right, Councilman Jim Arp said. Move on to the next article. From sight to blindness, she still stays busy. This is the how you can help section. I'm sorry. Nicole Corbett, 41, was diagnosed as a child with a rare eye disease called Peters anomaly. It robs many children of their sight. She was saved, she says, by early discovery by military doctors, treatment and surgery. The military, my dad was military. The military gave me my sight for 39 years, she says. Without them catching it when I was a baby, I probably would have been blind as well. Her 2100 vision made it unsafe for her to drive, but she was a member of her high school marching band and would later go on to earn 2 degrees, including graduating magna cum laude from Colorado Technical University. Her life changed in 2015 when a series of vision problems led to multiple surgeries to replace her corneas, then repair her retinas, which were detaching. It was just before her 4th and final surgery when she looked at a picture of the moon on her cell phone background, and her eyes reflected back a funhouse mirror of the moon, with some parts close and some far away. It was like broken glass, she says. The center was like smashed. It was weird. I was like, did I break my phone? Then she realized she couldn't see the TV. The next morning, it was the same thing. So I really panicked, she said. Doctors at UNC Chapel Hill warned her that they would do what they could, but it was ultimately up to her eyes, which had been through much trauma if she would see again. Her vision did not come back. She sees only perceptions of light and sometimes shapes. I believe this is the way it's going to be. Bearing some miracle, she says. She lost more than her sight, she says. She lost her husband, her job, most of her friends, and had to give up the house she was proud to have bought at age 34. She went through a blue period, but never gave in to the impulse to just ball up, she says. She wanted to get out of the house, do things, work, as she had done since age 16. After a year in rehab and while learning to bond with her service dog, a cheerful yellow Labrador, named Van Gogh, she took a job volunteering with the local Red Cross. She worked as an internship and intake specialist for volunteers. Throughout, she leaned on one of her best friends, Kim Bush, who she met when both worked at the exchange on Fort Bragg. Bush lives nearby and comes instantly when she gets a call from Corbett, who lives in a new apartment off Bunts Road. Bush says simply of Corbett, she is the bravest person I know. This week, Corbett began a new adventure. training to be an office assistant at the Vision Restore Center, located in the Dorothy Gilmore Therapeutic Recreation Center on Purdue Drive. He is working as an intern under Director Terry Thomas, and if all goes well, she will be hired full-time. She says Thomas has been a key figure in her transition. Thomas grasped that Corbett wanted to remain active. The center, which is part of the United Way of Cumberland County, and its team of volunteers specialize in helping their clients do just that. The clients go bowling, rock climbing, zip lining, and shopping. Thomas says Corbett hit the ground running on her first day at work Tuesday. She stamped letters, worked the phones, and helped head off a book mailing crisis using her phone and an app. I was so impressed, says Thomas. She says visually impaired people want to work. She told Corbett Tuesday, I was glad to see that smile on your face. Corbett, meanwhile, continues to adjust to a world without sight. She keeps clear lanes in her living room and around the house where she knows she can walk unimpeded, except for an occasional encounter with one of Van Gogh's toys. She still cooks a lot, but she learned the hard way that there's a specific way you reach up for the cabinet when sitting near a stove. She picks out familiar clothes by feel and uses a handheld color identifier to help match colors. She's learned how to decode the identifier too. For instance, when it's held up to gold jewelry, it might say dark brown or tan. It took me a while, she said this with a smile. Corbett's an early riser, usually up by 5 a.m. She says before she lost her vision, she spent as much as 2 hours getting ready for her day. Now her hair is in braids and is less maintenance. She, of course, spends no time in front of the mirror. Her morning ritual is much faster, she says. The biggest adjustment I've had to make is not being afraid to be out in public without being able to see my surroundings, she says. It's scary for me to travel without having sight. She went to New York to meet her guide dog, Van Gogh, trained by a famous guiding Eyes for the Blind tool. Corbett says I put my life in his 4 paws, and between the two of us, he gets me where I need to go. I get him where he needs to take me by giving him instruction.
For those who are just tuning us in, we would like to welcome you to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We are located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today's date is Friday, October the 20th, and your radio hosts today are Bobby Hardy
and Jessica Bullock.
Thank you. Continue to read for the next articles. The next article is man's body found outside home. Lillington, a man was found dead in the yard of a home in Holly Springs on Thursday morning, and the death is being investigated as a homicide, the Harnett County Sheriff's Office said. The man has been identified as Philip Sauls, age 49, of the 12,000 block of North NC 42 in Holly Springs. A sheriff's office release said the cause of death has not been released. Deputies were asked to do a well-being check about 9:45 a.m. on the 12,000 block of NC 42. The release said Saul's body was found at the rear of the yard. Anyone with information is asked to call Sheriff's Office at 893-9111. Again, the Sheriff's Office number is 893-9111.
th Airborne Corps welcomes new senior NCO. The Good Command Sergeant Major is a battle buddy, candid advisor, advocate for soldiers, chief scout, and representative of the commander. He looks after soldiers of all ranks, serves as a mentor, and maintains the example for others in the force to follow. For more than 2 years, Commander Sergeant Benjamin Jones has been all that and more. Jones has been my eyes and ears, my advisor and my conscience, my jump buddy, and more importantly, my friend, said Lieutenant General Stephen J. Townsend, the commanding general of the 18th Airborne Corps in Fort Bragg. No leadership team lasts forever, and Jones, after spending the last 26 months of his 30-year Army career assigned to Fort Bragg, including 13 months deployed to Iraq, is moving on to another position in Hawaii, where he will be Command Sergeant Major of U.S. Army Pacific. The ceremony at Fort Bragg's main post flagpole, officials honored Jones as they welcomed his replacement, Commander Sergeant Charles W. Albertson, who most recently served as the senior enlisted leader for the 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum, New York, said This was his first assignment at Fort Bragg. He is now the most senior enlisted paratrooper in the Army and a key leader on the U.S. military's largest installation. The size and complexity of Fort Bragg is far more significant than anything across the Army, he said. 10 to 12% of the Army is here at Fort Bragg. Albertson said he was up for the challenge and he thanked Townsend for having faith in his ability to do the job. On Wednesday, officials said Albertson will have big boots to fill in replacing Jones, who came to Fort Bragg from the 23rd Infantry Division in 2015. In recent months, he and Townsend returned with hundreds of soldiers from the Phillips headquarters who were deployed to the coalition against the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. The Corps has been incredibly fortunate, Townsend said in describing the contributions Jones has made. His leadership has made a difference both on the training field and on the battlefield. Jones has a keen eye for discipline, standards force protection, soldier morale, and leader development. The general said he was invaluable in preparing the Corps to deploy last year and leading the rest of the 18th Airborne Corps, which includes more than 92,000 soldiers and 12 subordinate commands in 6 states, including 4 divisions. The secret to Jones's success, Townsend said, is the woman who was often sitting beside him, his wife, Leah Jones. Before the ceremony, Townsend honored the couple with the Legion of Merit for Commander Sergeant Jones and a U.S. Army Forces Command Well-Being Award for Leah Jones. We all expect the soldier's spouse to do one thing, take care of the soldier and their family, Townsend said, but the Fort Bragg community was blessed to have Leah Jones doing much more, helping out in the larger Fort Bragg and surrounding communities. He said Leah Jones went above and beyond in caring for soldiers and family members and calling her a pillar of the Fort Bragg community. Jones also praised his wife, calling her an amazing woman who inspired him to be a better soldier, husband, and father. He also said the family will always remember the support they received from the community. Townsend said the change of responsibility between senior non-commissioned officers was an important transition for the 18th Airborne Corps and the larger Fort Bragg community. He said Albertson was the right man to take on the job. I think Sergeant Major Albertson has a type of leadership and training and reward that our Army and our Corps will need in the future, Townsend said. He charged Albertson with maintaining discipline, enforcing tough but realistic standards, developing junior leaders, and maintaining traditions. Albertson, who has served for more than 25 years, including 20 years in the 76th Ranger Regiment, said he looks forward to learning more about Fort Bragg and settling into his new role. In recent weeks, he's met with leaders across the installation. A common theme in those conversations were words like partnership, team, and coalition. Albertson said he will try to build on that team to ensure Fort Bragg soldiers are ready and able to respond when the nation needs them. We've got to stand ready to support any possibility, he said.
The next article we have is pertaining to public safety. This is the Cumberland arrest. Donald Clayton Soros, age 61, of the 500 block of Wilkins Road, was charged Thursday with 3 counts each of habitual larceny and possessing stolen property. Bail was set at $30,000. Stephen Biker Rivera, age 27, of the 1000 block of Harbor Road, was charged Thursday with breaking and entering, larceny, and possessing stolen property. The bail was set at $10,000. Joshua Laddiff Earls, age 17, of the 4600 block of Ashton Road, was charged Thursday with 6 counts of breaking and entering a motor vehicle, 3 counts each of misdemeanor larceny and misdemeanor possession of stolen property, 2 counts each of misdemeanor injury to property, and 1 count of felony larceny. He was released to the custody of his legal guardian. Lashina Hines, age 28, of the 4100 block of Dalewood Drive, was charged Thursday with robbery with a dangerous weapon and possession of firearm by a felon. Bail was set at $30,000. Billy Glendale Campbell, age 47, of the 1000 block of Southern Avenue, was charged Wednesday with receiving or transferring stolen vehicle, misdemeanor possession of a controlled substance, and misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. Bail was set at $7,500. Break-ins, Paddlefish Road, reported at 10:03 p.m. 2 Tuesday, video game system taken. Hope Mill Spring Garden Drive reported at 2:10 p.m. Tuesday. Refrigerator, stove, and microwave oven taken. And that concludes the Cumberland County arrest and the break-ins.
Okay, survey to gather input about next school superintendent. The Cumberland County School Board is seeking input from residents about the search for a new leader of the school system. The board is inviting parents and others in the community to take a short survey, which can be accessed and completed online by clicking the survey link on the front page of the school system's website at http://ccs.k12.nc.us. Residents who don't have access to the internet can take the survey at Cumberland County libraries that have computers for public use. Paper copies of the survey are available at the Cumberland County Schools Central Services Building and at individual schools. The completed survey should be returned to the drop box at each school or in the Central Services Building. The surveys must be completed by December 4th. The North Carolina School Boards Association, which is helping the school board with the search, will compile, summarize, and present the survey findings at the school board meeting December 12th. The school board also plans to have a public meeting in an informal setting to get feedback on the search. Residents also can give their views during the public comment part of the board's regular meetings. Local groups and organizations may submit written statements about the leadership qualities that they consider important in the next superintendent. Those statements should be submitted by December 4th to Allison Scaffer via email at ncsba, P.O. Box 97877, Raleigh, North Carolina 27624, via email at ascaffer, that's ASCHAFER at ncsba.org, or via fax at 919-841-4020.
The next article we have, State Places Candidates Business on Probation. This is an article by staff writer Monica Venatulli. The State Board of Funeral Service has placed Fayetteville mayoral candidate Mitch Colvin on 2 years of probation after state regulators accused his funeral home of keeping incomplete records, eluding important documents, and not submitting reports to the state in a timely manner. A consent order filed October the 12th with the State Office of Administrative Hearings was signed by Colvin, another funeral home employee, and Charles Graves, president of the state board. The order found that Colvin, the employee, and Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory are fit to continue to practice funeral service, but the parties agreed to a number of conditions to remain that way, including placing Colvin's funeral service license and business on probation for 2 years, placing the employee on probation for 1 year, and fining Colvin and his business $1,500.
Blue Cross Obamacare move has no impact on rates. Raleigh, North Carolina's largest health insurer, said Wednesday that President Donald Trump's recent move to cut off Obamacare, payments to insurers won't affect its average 14.1% prices increase on those policies for next year. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina said the state insurance department approved the company's requested rate increase for Affordable Care Act plans covering medical care in 2018. A spokesman for the regulator did not respond to a call seeking details of the department's decision on the policy sold to individuals. The only insurer selling the plans in all 100 of the state's counties said in May it wanted to raise premiums by 22.9%, but in August it lowered its request to 14.1% after it said new data showed that the North Carolina ACA market was stabilizing. The Durham-based insurer said in a statement that its rate increase would have been near zero if Trump and the Republican-led Congress had fully funded the cost-sharing subsidies. The funds were envisioned by former President Barack Obama's health insurance overhaul law to help insurers hold down customer costs. A more precise description of how low subsidy payments would have cut the rate increase wasn't immediately available, Blue Cross spokesman Austin Gervicka said.
Just continuing from the last article about the state places candidates' business on probation, the order notes that although the board accused the funeral home of violating multiple laws, there was no evidence consumer harm, fraud, or deceit. My family has worked hard to be a well-respected business in this community. We are known for providing services to our neighbors and taking care of them, Colvin said. As is stated in the documents, the licensing board did not find any issues with the way we treat our families, and I was proud about that. Colvin's lawyer, Jonathan Charleston, said Colvin disputed all of the state board's claims and only entered in the consent order to avoid the time and cost that would come with further litigation. The complaints came after a state inspector conducted an examination this year of the funeral home's pre-need contracts, which are funded through trust and insurance. A pre-need contract is when a person signs a plan for how they want their funeral or burial to be organized and paid for prior to dying. The contract authorities paying for a funeral or burial through an insurance policy, escrow account, or trust. During the state examination, the inspector accused the funeral home of having multiple pre-need contracts that need not include the disposition or arrangement of the person's cremated remains, according to court documents. The inspector also alleged in the documents that he could not audit two files because the most recent bank statements for them were not available for review. In addition, the inspector accused the business of failing to file and complete multiple documents required by state for such contracts, and submitted pre-need annual reports mandated by state law late in 2014, 15, and 16. The consent order said the business must correct issues within 90 days, pay all fees to be determined by filing required documents late, and have the funeral home staff complete additional continuing education classes by the end of the year. We've started to make staff changes, and the board has given us recommendations on how to improve an administrative process, Colvin said. This is not the first time that Colvin's funeral home has run into trouble with the board. In 2014, the board fined the funeral home $1,000 and ordered it to pay a partial refund after finding that the funeral home cremated human remains without proper authorization. In addition, the complaint said Colvin made a negligent misrepresentation in the practice of funeral service. While there is no law requiring funeral homes to offer lower prices for child funeral services, state regulators in 2014 said Colvin told the family of a deceased child that discounts are never offered, which is misleading to the consumer, according to the board. This is by staff writer Monica Vinatoli, and she can be reached at mvinatoli@fayettevilleobserver.com or the number 486-3596.
Me Too, tipping point or outrage du jour. Depending upon one's distance from all things Twitter, recent revelations of sexual harassment in Hollywood are either the tipping point we've been waiting for or just another shark attack until the next one. If your former Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson, whose book These Fears was released just as Harvey Weinstein was falling from grace, we're in the midst of a Malcolm Gladwell sequel. And Carlson, who also is a former Miss America, is the female version of David, who ultimately brought down Goliath. Fox News creator and CEO Roger Ailes with a sexual harassment lawsuit that resulted in a $20 million settlement. She also opened the floodgates with her witness and testament, prompting strangers to stop her on the street. In the past few days, thousands of other women have taken to social media to post their own experiences of sexual harassment using the hashtag #MeToo. Every woman has a story, says Carlson. If you're a skeptical sort, on the other hand, you may lean toward the shark attack line of thinking. This too shall pass softly into history. In other words, because inevitably something else will come along to demand our attention. Given the plethora of horrors from the Las Vegas slaughter to the California fires, how does one sustain the necessary intensity to effect the sort of systematic cultural change that Carlson and others hope for? The skeptics would have a valid point were it not for at least one statistically significant factor and one well of difference from all previous uprisings. It's true, as Carlson says, that every woman has a story, then statistically sexual harassment in the workplace is a plague, a disaster, and a psychological assault weapon. Given that women constitute half the world's population and that successful women mean successful families and societies, then any word or action that undermines their ability to conduct life without fear of sex-based exploitation or retribution could be considered an epidemic of opioid proportions. Coincidentally, Trump, whose president campaign recently was swept open for records related to multiple sexual harassment allegations, is slated next week to declare the opioid crisis a national emergency. The big fish difference, meanwhile, is the president. The man who famously boasted of grabbing women by their nethers sparked the Women's March last January with his many crude comments. Trump lawyers have requested that they be allowed to postpone responding to the subpoena until his presidency ends. But feminist attorney Gloria Aldred, who is representing some of the accusers, doesn't appear to harbor patience in her armory of legal tactics. To be continued. When I interviewed Carlson recently, I confessed that I had always been a guy girl, raised by my father in a male-centric environment, and as a professional skeptic, had often assumed that most victims of sexual harassment were either not tough enough, lacked a sense of humor, or were stupid about gaytude. It turns out I was also, according to Carlson, part of the problem. We learned something new every day. Next, I told her that I had never been sexually harassed and proceeded to relate at least 2 incidents in my adult working life that were textbook sexual harassment. I simply hadn't recognized them as such. Indeed, I did what most women do. I shrugged them off and stashed the experiences so deeply in my psyche's junk folder that I forgot about them until now. Me too. Cases such as Carlson's allies kept pushing her for sex so that she would be good and better, were more clear-cut than mine. One incident was hands-on, but the other, a series of episodes in the early 1990s, was environmental. Strippers were brought in to our intimate public relations office to perform for executives' birthday parties. I was told I could stay home those days, which I did, but then the CEO would call a meeting and show a video of the striptease on a large screen while my boss and half dozen male colleagues laughed. It wasn't fun or funny. Sexual harassment doesn't always mean a sexual advance. As Carlson pointed out, it's about power through sexual intimidation. Surely a woman have a right to live and work without this predatory threat. If enough fathers care about their daughters' future success, if enough brothers care about their sister's safety, if enough women care enough about each other, Me Too or Be Fierce won't be just another hashtag. And as long as Trump is considered one of the greatest feminists by so many women, this moment won't likely be just another bad day at the beach.
Next article. National Guard to honor fallen soldier. Sanford, the North Carolina National Guard will rename a facility for a fallen soldier in ceremony on Friday. The Sanford Readiness Center 2002-14 Main Street will be rededicated in honor of Sergeant DeForest Talbert. Talbert is a native of Arlington, Virginia, who was serving in the West Virginia National Guard when he was killed in Baldrick, Iraq on July 27, 2004. The Adjutant General of North Carolina, Majority General Greg Lust, and other dignitaries will be on hand for the ceremony, which will take place at 11 a.m. The Sergeant DeForest Talbert Readiness Center will honor a soldier who was serving with the North Carolina's 30th Heavy Brigade Combat Team during the 2004 deployment. The brigade, which includes both North Carolina and West Virginia Guardsmen, is headquartered in Clinton. It also has units in Fayetteville, Southern Pines, and Sanford. I want to pause and take time to read the obituary. The following deaths have been reported. See upcoming editions of Fayetteville Observer for complete obituary information. Starting with the Cumberland County, We first have Miss Elizabeth Rosa Johnson, age 97, of Fayetteville, Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. John B. Kentley, age 85, of Pinehurst, formerly of Fayetteville, Rogers and Brees Funeral Home, the Cape Fear region. Majority H. Freedley, age 87, of Leamington, Old Queen Peebles Phillips Funeral Home and Crematory in Leamington. Queen O. Locklear, age 95, of Shannon, Bowes Biggs Funeral Home of Lumberton. Willie D. Turk Murphy, age 63, of Clinton, Worley Funeral Home. Funerals today: Butler, age 76, of Lumberton. The funeral will be at 1 p.m. Morning Star United Holiness Church, Clinton. Burial, Sand Hill Cemetery, Clinton. Butler and Son Funeral Services, Clinton. Nancy White, age 79, of Clarkston, 3 p.m. Bladen Gaskins Funeral Home. The burial will be at Clarkston City Cemetery. Bladen Gaskins Funeral Home, Elizabethtown. Catherine Bailey of Fayetteville. The funeral will be at 12 p.m. St. Patrick Catholic Church. The burial will be at Sand Hill State Veteran Cemetery. And that's at Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. Albert Dinsmore, age 90, of the St. Paul's, 11 a.m. St. Paul's United Methodist Church. The burial will be located at Gardens of Faith Cemetery. And the funeral home is McNeil Mackey Funeral Home of St. Paul's. Dr. Arnold Barefoot Jr., age 61, of Fayetteville. The funeral will be at 11:30 a.m. at the Hay Mountain United Methodist Church, and the funeral home is Brown Wynn Funeral Home. James Melton, age 86, of Fayetteville. The funeral will be at 3 p.m. Carroll Memorial Baptist Church. The burial is private, and the funeral home is Rogers and Brees Funeral Home. Miss Julia Faircloth, age 60, of Rayford. The funeral will be at 2 p.m. Rogers and Brees Funeral Home. Lorraine Honaker, age 53, of Hope Mills, 1 p.m. Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Service of Hope Mills. Cumberland County. James Maurice McMillan, Fayetteville. James Maurice McMillan, age 57, of Fayetteville, died Monday, October 16, 2017. Funeral will be Saturday at 1 p.m. Today is Chapel Disciples of Christ Church. Viewing at the funeral home Friday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Burial, Sand Hill State Veterans Cemetery, Fort Bragg, October the 23rd, 2017 at 2 p.m. Hearing funeral care and cremations. Valerie Gilchrist, Fayetteville. Valerie Gilchrist, age 59, of Fayetteville, died Thursday, October the 12th, 2017. The funeral will be Saturday, 2 p.m. Cunningham and Sons Mortuary Chapel. Visitation will be at Cunningham and Sons Mortuary Chapel Friday at 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Cunningham and Sons Mortuary. Channing K. Host. Channing K. McBride Host, age 46, of Fayetteville, North Carolina, passed away on Monday, October the 16th, 2017, of cancer. Services will be held at 11 a.m. on Saturday, October the 21st, 2017, at Fayetteville Christian Church. And that address is 4308 Rose Hill Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. David Russ McNeil from Hope Mills. David Russ McNeil, age 57, of Hope Mills, died Tuesday, October the 17th, 2017. The memorial will be Sunday at 3 p.m. at Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Services located in Hope Mills. Larry Dickens from Fayetteville. Larry Dickens, age 59, of Fayetteville, died Monday, October the 16th, 2017. The memorial will be on Saturday at 12 o'clock. Christ Temple, Spring Lake, Lafayette Funeral Home. Patricia Rayleigh Gall from Roseboro. Patricia Rayleigh Gall, age 64, Roseboro, died Wednesday, October 18, 2017. The graveside service will be the graveside will be Saturday, 11 a.m. Penal Pentecostal Holiness Church Cemetery in Roseboro. Visitation at the graveside following the service, Saturday 11:30 a.m. to noon. Burial, Peniel Pentecostal Holiness Church Cemetery in Roseboro. And that funeral home is Cox Memorial Funeral Home and Crematory in Bass. Minister William Jerome Moore from Fairbluff. Minister William Jerome Moore, age 76, of Fairbluff, died Monday, October the 16th, 2017. Funeral, Saturday, 11 a.m., Sandy Grove Missionary Baptist Church in Fairbluff. Viewing, SNL Funeral Home in Fairbluff, Friday, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Burial, Butler Branch Church Cemetery in Fairbluff. And again, that funeral home is SNL Funeral Home in Fairbluff. Henry Charles Booter Brown, Chadbourne. Henry Charles Booter Brown, age 52, of Chadbourne, died Friday, October the 13th, 2017. The funeral service will be held on Saturday, 1 p.m. Zion Walfrua Baptist Church in Chadbourne. The viewing will be at SNL Funeral Home in Fairbluff on Friday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And burial at Bellevue Cemetery in Chadbourne. Again, that's funeral home is SNL Funeral Home in Fairbluff. Miss Edna Jackson Irvin from Chesapeake, Virginia, formerly of Clinton, North Carolina. Edna Jackson Irvin, age 93, of Chesapeake, Virginia, formerly of Clinton, North Carolina, died Wednesday, October 18, 2017. Funeral service will be held on Sunday at 2 p.m. Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home. Visitation will be at Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home on Sunday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and burial will be at the Clinton City Cemetery, Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home. Beatrice Leggett, age 84, of Lumberton, died Monday, October the 16th, 2017. Funeral services will be held on Saturday at 2 p.m. South Lumberton Church Street. Visitation, Celebrations of Life by Leggett Patterson Funeral Home. Friday from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. The burial will be at Garden of Faith Cemetery. Celebrations of Life by Leggett Patterson Funeral Home. Just a few more. Dr. George Ward Shannon, Laurinburg. Dr. George Ward Shannon, age 97, of Laurinburg, died Saturday, October 14, 2017. The funeral services will be held on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Laurinburg Presbyterian Church, Laurinburg. And that funeral home is McDougall Funeral Home and Crematorium. Cloman Randolph or Randy McNeil, Maxton. Cloman Randolph Randy McNeil, age 92, of Maxton, died Wednesday, October 18, 2017. Funeral services will be held on Sunday, 3 p.m. Century Presbyterian Church. Visitation will be held at Richard Boyle's Funeral Services will be on Saturday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Burial, Century Presbyterian Church Cemetery, and the funeral home is Richard Boyle's Funeral Service. Gary Lee Love of Rayford. Gary Lee Love, age 60, of Rayford, died Saturday, October the 14th, 2017. Memorial will be held on Saturday, 1:30 p.m. at Bowie Funeral Home Chapel. Viewing will be held at Bowie's Chapel, Friday, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Bowie Funeral Home. Alma Lucille Butler Knight, of Pinehurst, formerly of Laurinburg. Alma Lucille Butler Knight, age 91, of Pinehurst, formerly of Laurinburg, died on Wednesday, October 18, 2017. There will be a graveside service on Friday at 12:30 p.m. Oak Grove Cemetery in Maxton. Visitation Richard Boyle's Funeral Service, Friday 11 a.m. to noon. Richard Boyle's Funeral Service. Shamika Serki Tart, Brooklyn, formerly of Robeson County. Shamika Serki Tart, 31, of Brooklyn, formerly of Robeson County, died Thursday, October the 12th, 2017. Graveside will be on Tuesday from 11 a.m. New Hope Cemetery, Roland. Burial will be at New Hope Cemetery, Roland, and that's from Purcell Funeral Home of Laurinburg. Gloria Ann Nedro, Sanford. Gloria and Nedro, age 87 of Sanford, died Wednesday, October 18, 2017. Memorial Saturday at 11 a.m. Smith Funeral Home Chapel, Broadway. Visitation immediately following the memorial service at the Smith Funeral Home on Saturday. And again, that funeral home is Smith Funeral Home of Broadway. J.W. Ennis of Dunn. J.W. Ennis, age 63, of Dunn, died Tuesday, October the 10th, 2017. Memorial, Sunday noon, Cumberland Street Baptist Church in Dunn. Visitation will be at the Cumberland Street Baptist Church in Dunn Sunday from 11 a.m. to noon. And that's the funeral home is Cromartie Miller Funerals and Cremations in Dunn. Excuse me. Christine Washington, St. Paul's. Christine Washington, age 83, of St. Paul's, died Monday, October the 16th, 2017. Their funeral services will be held on Saturday, 1 p.m. Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. Viewing McCoy and Sons of Mortuary, Friday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. A burial will be at the church cemetery, McCoy and Sons of Mortuary. Avery E. Tart of Dunn. Avery E. Tart, age 89, of Dunn, died Wednesday, October the 18th, 2017. The funeral services will be held on Monday at 11 a.m. Gospel Tabernacle Church. Visitation at the Gospel Tabernacle Church, Sunday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Burial will be Devotional Gardens, Skinner and Smith Funeral Home. And Purdy, St. Paul's. Ed Purdy, age 85, of St. Paul's, died Monday, October the 16th, 2017. Funeral will be Saturday, 3 p.m. at Zion Church. Viewing McCoy and Sons of Mortuary, Friday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Burial will be at Clark's Chapel Cemetery in Tar Heel, and the funeral home is McCoy and Sons of Mortuary. Timothy, this is the last one. Timothy B. Williams, Fairmont. Timothy B. Williams, age 45, of Fairmont, died Tuesday, October 17, 2017. And the funeral home is Coven Funeral Home. This concludes obituaries and news, death notices, and the funerals for today. Thank you.
Okay, on to a more happier note, or busier note. White tires of long, lonely marriage. This is the Dear Abby section. Dear Abby, I will soon be married 48 years, but it is not much of a marriage. There is no sex, no touching, no kind and compassion words, only bickering and arguing. I can't figure out why I'm still here. I have thought about leaving many times. I've written 3 books, and because of it, my husband has ridiculed me. I've also owned and operated 2 businesses. I'm active in the community, which he resents. He is an introvert, while I am an extrovert. He no longer accompanies me to activities, but when he did, he makes snide remarks to people who stop to chat with us, so I no longer invite him. Help me, please. Sad, lonely wife. Dear wife, I will try. If you are asking my permission to divorce your husband, I can't give it to you. Instead, I suggest you ask yourself why you have tolerated such a lonely marriage for 48 years and what you feel you would have to gain by leaving. As an intelligent woman, once you answer that, I think you will know what to do. Dear Abby, many years ago, as I was about to graduate from college and began looking for a job, I read a book called Dress for Success. One of the things I remember from it is that a man's tie should be tied to a link that is between the last button of his shirt and the top of his belt buckle. Since the last election, I have noticed that many politicians, our new president included, wear their ties several inches below their belt. Is this a fashion trend or just them being unique? Chris in Washington. Dear Chris, I brought your question to the attention of the Brooks Brothers corporate office and was told that what you read and dressed for success was correct. That some people wear their ties longer is an individual style decision and not a fashion trend.
Next we have the Billy Graham, be an example of Christ to loved ones. The question was asked, I'm concerned because my sister has become deeply involved in a religious group that sounds to me like a cult. She's always been kind of a weak person, and I've heard that cults often target people who are easily influenced. Is this true? Answer, yes, it's true that some religious cults deliberately seek out people who are easily influenced, either because they have no real convictions of their own or because they aren't emotionally strong enough to resist pressure from others. This doesn't mean everyone who becomes involved in a cult is this way, of course, but it does mean some people are especially vulnerable to a cult's appeal. In fact, one characteristic of many cults is that they are led by a strong leader who dominates his members and demands their total loyalty. Leaders who seek to serve Christ, however, aren't this way, but are eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you. 1 Peter 5:2-3. What can you do to help your sister? First, examine your own spiritual life. Have you ever decisively committed your life to Jesus Christ? And are you seeking to follow him and live for him every day? Make sure of your commitment to Christ, and then ask God to make you an example to your sister of his love and peace and joy. She may not be open to what you tell her, but she can't argue with the reality of a life that's been changed by Christ's power. Then pray for your sister. Pray that God will show her that she's on the wrong path and will give her the courage to turn to Jesus. Pray to God that God will give you a deeper love for her and will give you opportunities to talk with her about Christ. Readers can write to Reverend Billy Graham at the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, 1 Billy Graham Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28201, or call 877-2-GRAHAM. The website for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association is at billygraham.org. And this is from the Tribune Media Services.
Okay, I'm going to read some horoscopes today, or right now. What's your horoscope? What's your sign?
I am a Scorpio.
Okay, Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Libra. Birthday is September 23rd to October 22nd. Today, you'll have some trouble today fitting everything into its dedicated spot. A little creativity can go a long way towards solving the problem. Scorpios. Others are likely to lean your way today as you argue a point that hasn't been embraced in some time. Your popularity increases too. Okay. Sagittarius. More than expected must be done in less time than you had planned. And this will be a logistical puzzle that lasts some time. Capricorn, you must prepare yourself for something that is fast approaching, though you cannot fully see in complete details. Aquarius, which I am, you will be expected to play an entirely new role soon, and you can spend much of the day preparing to address many facets of it. Okay. Pisces, you are not doing things how others have expected you to do them, but that's not so much of a problem as your unwillingness to change. Aries, you are looking for more useful ways to spend your time, but what you've been assigned can prove quite important very soon. Taurus, now is a good time for you to distance yourself from someone who has become far too aggressive for his own good or yours. Gemini, others will know just what you are really trying to do when you behave in a way that goes against the grain. This doesn't mean you'll succeed. Cancer, promote yourself and your ideas in the most direct way possibly today, and you're likely to have more than one door open to you tomorrow. Leo, you may find yourself wondering why you didn't take full advantage of someone's patronage years ago. The question is it too late? Virgo, a situation arises today that demands more of your time and attention than you were planning to give. This adjustment can be made easily. That's the horoscope.
Which one did you follow up with there?
Aquarius.
Oh, okay. The next article we have is Billy Horn honored for 50 years in elected office. This is a rather lengthy article, so bear with me. Folks who want to be elected leaders can learn something from Billy Horn, who has been one since 1967, either as a Cumberland County Commissioner or Stedman's beloved and long-serving mayor. Take it from any mayor. Every community should be so fortunate to have a mayor and a leader like Billy Horn. Charles McLaurin, the Eastover mayor, was saying Monday before Horn was honored by the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners for his 50-year career of elected public service. Hope Mills Mayor Jackie Warner was there to remind Horn he was not only a great mayor for Stedman, but you were great for Cumberland County. And Falcon Mayor Clifton Turpin was there to say, you have truly been an ambassador to your town and this community, and with his time and personal generosity to the Falcons Children's Home. You don't have to be a mayor to know Billy Horn. Jordan Stewart, a Stedman commissioner, would say he never met a man with such integrity, and Stedman Mayor Pro Tem Marty Jones, a voice cracked with emotion as he was saying how much the town will miss Horn, who decided not to pursue another term. Billy Horn never was a politician. He was just a farmer and businessman, a God-fearing man of character and humble ways, and willing at least to serve on the Stedman Board of Commissioners from 1966 to 1970 and from 1995 to 1996. Just for the sake of doing what he could for the small town across the Cape Fear River. Years ago, when I was a town commissioner, Horn was saying Ernest Freeman was the mayor and talked to me about running for county commissioner. Horn would win and serve 3-year 4 terms from 1970 to 1982. Alongside an array of commissioners to include M.M. Beard, J. McNatt Gillis, Luther Packer, Mary McAllister, Larry Thompson, E.J. Edge, Virginia Thompson, Oliver, and Morris Bedsole. He always took his votes with a lot of consideration and deliberation. Oliver, who served 3 terms with Horn, would say, I've never known a man of such integrity. Billy Horn was born to Charles and Inez Horn of Roseboro, who later moved to Beaver Dam and then Stedman in September of the year 1944. After graduation from Stedman High School, Horn studied at Edwards Military Institute before joining the Army, where he served as a classified documents clerk from 1954 to 1956. He married the love of his life, Elgie Faye Jackson, while serving Uncle Sam, and treats her today with as much love, respect, and admiration as the day they married on May 30 of 1955 at Stedman's Baptist Church. They raised 4 sons. Billy Horn was his own county commissioner. He would compromise for the greater good, but he never compromised his principles for political gain or an election vote. His fingerprints all over this county, from the Morris E. Braswell Cumberland County Courthouse to the Health Department and Public Library. You were also a gentleman, Commissioner Janet Council said before presenting Horn with a letter from Governor Roy Cooper, who acknowledged his distinguished public service career. And you always made everyone feel welcome. Here's the definition of public servant. County Manager Amy Cannon would say of Horn. He never forgot about the greater good of Cumberland County, she said. Billy Horn accepted a proclamation from Glenn Adams, the commissioner's chairman, on behalf of the county. It's been a wonderful place to serve in the county and in Stedman. Horn, age 84, humbly would say, I enjoyed servicing here and over at the old courthouse. We had great boards. We tried to keep Stedman quiet, and we tried to keep the county tax rate reasonable. It's a great honor, and I am appreciative for the opportunity. I've had a wonderful life. This is from Bill Kirby Jr., and he can be reached at bkirby@fayeobserver.com or the number 486-3571.
All right. If you guys didn't know, it is Fayetteville State's homecoming, celebrating 150th year. All of Fayetteville State University's homecomings are special to the college, but this one has a more significant. This year, the university is celebrating its sesquicentennial or 150th year anniversary. Here are some events taking place as FSU marks a milestone. Bazaar and Spirit Day Pep Rally. Food and other items will be for sale at the event scheduled from 1 to 4 p.m. today at the gazebo on campus. Bring your appetite. The homecoming concert, which is tonight as well. Rappers Boosie and YFN Lucci are on the bill at the concert, scheduled to begin at 8 p.m. today. in the Crown Coliseum. Tickets are $35 to $75. The parade's annual homecoming parade begins at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Saturday, and winds around the FSU campus. There are 4 grand marshals this year. FSU class of 64 graduate Sonora Diggs Davis, class of 65 graduate Clarence Lloyd, Fayetteville Police Chief Gina Hawkins, and Sergeant Renee Lockhart of the Raleigh Police Department. The football game. For many, the football game is the highlight of the homecoming activities. This year, the Broncos take on the St. Augustine University Falcons Saturday at 2 p.m. FSU students with ID are free. General admission is $25 with discounts available. Step show. FSU Panhandling Council step shows at 8 p.m. Saturday in Cable Arena on the FSU campus. Tickets are $10 for FSU students, $15 for general admission, advance, and $20 the day of the show.
That's very exciting because your readers for today are both students at Fayetteville State University, so we do define this as an exciting time of the year.
We are.
The next article is Software Company adding 75 jobs. This is an article by Chick Jacobs, who is a staff writer, A Fayetteville-based computer education and software company is expanding in downtown with the addition of 75, paying an average of $58,400. Advanced Computer Learning Co., whose clients include Commands on Fort Bragg, creates online and mobile learning programs, foreign language support services, and information technology programming. In addition to the jobs, the project will bring $613,000 in investment, according to Governor Roy Cooper's office. Preparing people for the jobs of the future requires innovative solutions and smart use of technology. Cooper said in a statement, "We welcome their expansion with 75 new quality jobs here in North Carolina." Founded in 2003, ACLC's clients include the U.S. Army Special Operations Command and the U.S. Army Forces Command. Officials said the decision to expand into Fayetteville was based in a large part because of the military presence. Negotiations with the company actually began late last year, said Robert Van Giens, President and CEO of the Fayetteville Cumberland County Economic Development Corporation. Things started heating up during the spring. ACLC is a representative of the kind of company that fits well here, he said. Any company would be proud to have them. Fayetteville and Cumberland County provided incentive grants of $37,500 each, which Van Giens said was necessary for a 2-to-1 match for a $150,000 grant from the Win North Carolina Fund. Excuse me. This is another example of how the city and country are working together to bring good, high-paying, high-tech jobs to Fayetteville, Mayor Nat Robertson said. The company's expansion at 208 Hay Street will include upgrading, expanding its corporate and supporting of offices to accommodate additional employees and infrastructure. ACLC will add state-of-the-art production and virtual reality studios, a recording studio sound room, and enhanced broadband infrastructure, according to officials. ACLC will also upgrade its facilities to improve competitiveness for military contracts. This is great news for Cumberland County, said Glenn Adams, chairman of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. We are excited that ACLC is expanding operations, creating new jobs in the technology industry, and making Fayetteville home for the company headquarters. Jack Ziegler is the company's chief executive officer. We look forward to bringing these new jobs to our community and are thankful for the opportunities that this grant provides, he said. Staff writer Chick Jacobs can be reached at 486-3515 or see Jacobs at FayettevilleObserver.com. And the last quote of the article says, preparing people for the jobs of the future requires initiative solutions and smart use of technology. We welcome the expansion with 75 new quality jobs here in the state of North Carolina.
All right, it's about that time. This is a Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number at 1-844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Jessica Bullock
and Bobby Hardy.
And we are proud to serve you today. GOP gives tax cuts budget through Senate. Washington. Republicans controlling the Senate appear set to muscle their $4 trillion budget plan through the Senate late Thursday, turning back successive attempts by Democrats to derail GOP plans for a tax cut later this year. A pair of 52 to 47 votes kept the GOP budget blueprint on track. The measure would set the stage for tax legislation later this year that could pass through the Senate without fear of filibuster by Democrats and add $1.5 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. President Donald Trump weighed in Thursday, telling reporters that I think we have the votes for the budget, which will be phase one of our massive tax cuts and reform. Only one Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky has expressed opposition to the budget, which shelves GOP deficit concerns in favor of the party's tax cut drive. The upcoming tax measure, always a top item on the GOP agenda, has taken on even greater urgency with the failure of the party to carry out its long-standing promise to dismantle former President Barack Obama's signature health care law. Republicans have said failure on taxes would be politically devastating in next year's midterm elections when control of the House and Senate are at stake. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, top Democrat on the Tax Writing Finance Committee, proposed stripping the GOP of its ability to push through tax legislation without fear of a Democratic filibuster, arguing tax reform should be bipartisan. Wyden's efforts failed. The House passed its version of the budget last week. It calls for tax cuts that don't add to the deficit and would pair the tax rewrite measure with $200 billion in spending cuts over the coming decade. Both plans seek to track open a long-standing ban on oil and gas exploration in the Preston Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Under Capitol Hill's Lasington budget rules, the non-binding budget resolution is supposed to lay out a long-term fiscal framework for the government. This year's measure calls for $473 billion in cuts from Medicare over 10 years and more than $1 trillion from Medicaid.
The next article has the heading "Workplace Shooting Victim Says He Feared Co-Worker." This is an article by Juliet Linderman and Matthew Barak, The Associated Press. Wilmington. The widow of a woman killed in a workplace shooting in Maryland said Thursday that her husband was so concerned about the gunman's explosive temper that he brought it up in church prayer sessions. Now, I cannot pronounce this, but I'm going to try. Bear Siskin Tadev was one of 3 people shot and killed Wednesday at a granite manufacturer in Edgewood, Maryland. People said Rady Prince walked into work at Advanced Granite Solutions and shot 5 co-workers. 2 remain in critical condition Thursday. Tadev's widow, General Dolgasarin, excuse me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, told the Associated Press that her husband had described Prince's volatile temper several times. He was always angry, she said her husband told her. Tadev, age 53, was a native of Mongolia who came to the United States in 2005. He and his wife settled in Arlington, Virginia, which was a large Mongolian American community. Dolga Serene said her husband liked his job so much that he endured a regular commute of more than 2 hours. She said he always felt that he was living the American dream. Prince was captured late Wednesday after a 10-hour manhunt, during which he also shot and wounded an acquaintance in Wilmington, Delaware. He was ordered held on $2.1 million cash bond on attempted murder charges in that shooting during this arrangement in a Delaware court early Thursday. Wilmington Police Chief Robert Tracy said his department is coordinating with Maryland law enforcement officials to transfer Prince back to Maryland to face charges in the workplace shooting. Tracy said at a news conference Wednesday night that police and federal agents arrested Prince after they spotted him in the Glasgow neighborhood. He left his SUV near a high school and a civilian notified authorities. Officers found him nearby and he ran about 75 feet, 23 meters, and threw away a gun before being arrested. No one was hurt in the capture. I even get chills talking about it because I know what it's like when we do hunt individuals that are desperate, Tracy said. In addition to the death, the Hartford County Sheriff's Office identified the slain victims as Jose Hidalgo Romero, 34, of Aberdeen, Maryland, and Ennis Margovjak, 48, of Dundalk, Maryland. Less than 2 hours after his first attack, Prince drove to a used car lot about 55 miles, 90 kilometers away in Wilmington, and opened fire on a man with whom Tracy said Prince had beefs in the past. The man was wounded but survived and identified Prince to police. The search for Prince clogged the Interstate 95 corridor from Maryland to Philadelphia, with cruisers patrolling the highways. Overhead highway signs flashed Prince's Delaware license plate number and the make and model of his vehicle. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said helicopters were circling the airspace searching for any sign of the black 2008 GMC Acadia.
U.S. has 8 border wall types to choose from. San Diego, the last 2 of 8 prototypes for President Donald Trump's proposed wall took shape Thursday at a construction site in San Diego. The prototypes form a tightly packed row of imposing concrete and metal panels, including one with sharp metals on edges on top. Another has a surface resembling an expensive brick driveway. Companies have until October 26 to finish the models, but Border Patrol spokesman Theron Francisco said the last 2 came into profile, with crews installing a corrugated metal surface on the 8th model on a dirt lot just a few steps from homes in Tijuana, Mexico. As the crews worked, 3 men and 2 women, one carrying a large red purse, jumped a short rustic fence from Tijuana into the construction site and were immediately stopped by agents on horseback. Francisco said there had been 4 or 5 other illegal crossing attempts at the site since working began September 26. The models, which cost the government up to $500 each, were spaced 30 feet apart. Slopes, thickness, and curves vary. One has 2 shades of blue with white trim. The others are gray, tan, or brown and sync with the dessert. Bidding guidelines call for the prototypes to stand between 18 and 30 feet high and be able to withstand at least an hour of punishment from a sledgehammer, pick-axe, torch, chisel, or battery-operated tools. Features also should prevent the use of climbing aids such as grappling hooks. The segments must be aesthetically pleasing when viewed from the U.S. side. The administration hasn't said how many winners it will pick or whether Trump will weigh in on the winner himself. There's currently 654 miles of single-layer fence on the 1,954-mile border. There's an initial 51 miles of double and triple-layer fence. Trump has asked Congress for $1.6 billion to replace 14 miles of wall in San Diego and build 60 miles in Texas' Rio Grande Valley, the busiest corridor for illegal crossing. He is building the wall.
Next article is veteran returns to skies after injury. Richard Clapp couldn't quite believe it. The small plane he rode in was climbing over the Florida landscape. Up and up and up as he waited with a parachute strapped to his back. It was surreal, Clapp said. I remember thinking that we just kept climbing and climbing. At 2,500 feet, Clapp recalled someone opening the plane's door. You feel that rush of wind, he said, and you think, holy crap, this is going to happen. Clapp had waited more than 23 years for this, to feel the wind in his hair, to dangle below a parachute canopy with the world below his feet. As an 82nd Airborne Division veteran, Clapp had trained for this moment. But a disaster stole it from him and ended his Army career. On March 23, 1994, Clapp was among more than 170 soldiers who were injured in the so-called Green Ramp disaster at Fort Bragg. 24 other soldiers died that day. Now, with the help of other veterans, Clapp was returning to his paratrooper roots. He was fulfilling a dream that he never thought would happen. Above Dunedin, Florida, he took in the view as he steered his parachute toward his landing site. You could see all the way to the ocean, 20 or 30 miles, Clapp said. It was amazing to be back up there. Clapp, who trained this week at the X-35 Airborne School in Dunedin, never thought he'd have the chance to jump from a plane again. But through a program officials call Knees to the Breeze, he became one of the first veteran paratroopers to return to the skies during the first of several jumps planned in Florida this week. I will keep this experience for the rest of my life, Clapp said after his first jump. To get the opportunity to do something like this again is something special. The Green Ramp disaster. As a young man, Clapp wanted to be a soldier, but more than that, he wanted to be a paratrooper. So being assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division of Fort Bragg was a part of a dream come true. He looked forward to the hard work that would be asked of him in the Army's only airborne division, and of maintaining the division's mission to jump, fight, and win anywhere in the world. But as he prepared to take his first jump with the 82nd Airborne Division in the spring of 1994, Clapp's dream was derailed by a fireball. A private with the 2nd Battalion of the 82nd's 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment, Clapp had been in the Army just 6 months. The March 23rd jump was supposed to be his first with the 82nd Airborne Division, but at what was then Pope Air Force Base, a mid-air collision sent fiery wreckage barreling toward Clapp and hundreds of fellow paratroopers. Clapp was badly burned over 45% of his body, including his back, arms, and face. The injuries would end his career and seemingly any chance he had to be a paratrooper again. Before the disaster, Clapp had made 5 jumps, all of the U.S. Army Airborne School at Fort Benning, Georgia. The jump that never happened at Fort Bragg would have been a perfect introduction to the All-American Division, he said. It was a daytime jump unburdened by heavy combat equipment, a so-called Hollywood jump, quote-unquote. This jump would have been extraordinary, Clapp said. I didn't go through all that the airborne training to not jump. Instead, Clapp found himself amid the chaos of Green Ramp, where he and 500 other soldiers were waiting their turns to load on 2 waiting planes. Overhead, an F-16 fighter jet collided with a C-130 cargo plane. The crew with the C-130 was able to land the damaged plane, but the F-16 pilots ejected, and the jet slammed into the tarmac, skidded across the runway, and tore into a C-141 cargo jet. The resultant fireball and debris tore through the waiting paratroopers. Clapp heard the sound of the crash first and turned just in time to see the fireball. In the quotes, it has a question, and it says, "What the H was that?" Clapp remembered asking a nearby sergeant to run. The sergeant screamed in response, but Clapp, like many others, did not make it to safety. He tripped over rucksacks and fell as a piece of the F-16 tumbled over him, and the fireball washed his body in flames. In the charged grass of Green Ramp, Clapp said, time slowed. He tried to help those who were injured around him. I knew I was injured, he said. I just didn't recognize the severity. Then Clapp, who was still on the fire, was tackled by a fellow soldier in an attempt to put out the flames. He was taken to nearby Womack Army Medical Center with a load of other soldiers in the back of a 2.5-ton army truck. At the hospital, Clapp said he remembered sitting in a chair and did nothing else for the next 3 days. Clapp woke in an army hospital in San Antonio. 2 years later, he was medically retired from the army.
Super Wing Station has more than wings on the menu. Tell us about your place. We try to give customers many delicious choices, said Jerry Zhang, who opened Super Wing Station in December. You don't have to run around to local locations looking for your favorite foods. The restaurant's versatile menu has everything from wings and gyros to hibachi, seafood, and grilled steak. Zhang, the head cook, has more than 20 years of Asian cooking experience, he said. I wanted to bring something unique to Fayetteville. Our wings are crispy and juicy, and everything is cooked to order and made fresh. Duke Jiang is the manager. Specialties. Wings are the house specialty, and you can get them almost anything on the menu, Jane said. We have traditional and boneless style wings with 25 different sauces to choose from. Most of our sauces are house-made. The hot honey barbecue, the mild, the hot, and the lemon pepper sauce are most popular, he said. Wing order range from a single order of 6 to an order of 100 wings. Extra dressing and multiple flavors are extra. The wing combo includes fried rice or fries and a drink with orders of 6, 10, 15, or 20 pieces. Most popular dish. The hibachi grilled teriyaki chicken is the most popular menu item, said Jane. We make our own teriyaki sauce in-house, and the order comes with a choice of fried rice or french fries. Hibachi dishes also include teriyaki shrimp, bourbon chicken, grilled 16-ounce T-bone, hibachi steak, and hibachi steak, and teriyaki chicken combo. We use USDA choice steak, and we only use good quality ingredients in our kitchen, he said. If you order the hibachi and wing combo, you will enjoy it even more. Jane said wings and hibachi are very popular together. A combo includes 6 wings with either the teriyaki chicken, teriyaki shrimp, or hibachi steak. It also includes fried rice or fries. Watch the diners eat here. We are a unique fusion-style restaurant, not just Asian, said Garen. Our menu concept is similar to America, with fresh made-to-order meals from a melting pot of cultures, he said. The address is 150 Francom Drive. Is in Ramsey Commons. Contact 488-8802, Super Wing Station, NorthCarolina.com, Fayetteville, Facebook. The hours are Monday through Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Thursday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. On Sunday, they're open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The type of food is American and Asian fusion cuisine that includes traditional and boneless chicken wings, hibachi, gyros, Philly steak, chicken, fish subs, grilled seafood, and fried shrimp. Price ranges from $5.99 to $23.99. That's making me hungry.
I was about to say, that's making me hungry, and if it didn't make y'all, it made me. And speaking of food, the Dogwood Fall Festival is today and Saturday in downtown Fayetteville. Friday, Dogwood Fall Festival. The annual festival is today from 5 to 11 p.m. and Saturday from 3 to 11 p.m. in downtown Fayetteville. Events include hay rides, a haunted house, music, craft, beers, and more. You can call the number 323-1934 or go to faydogwoodfestival.com for details. Old Mill Days Festival. The festival kicks off tonight with a street dance from 6 to 10 p.m. on Trey Street. There will be food and craft vendors, shopping, entertainment, and more. On Saturday, festivities are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Hope Mills Municipal Park, including a tractor pull, kids corner, arts and crafts vendors, food, and more. The event ends with a family movie night on Field 2. Next, they have a corn maze. The Gallberry Corn Maze, 5991 Braxton Road. Hope Mills is open through November the 5th. Hours are Friday from 5 to 10 p.m., Saturday from noon to 10 p.m., and Sunday from 1 to 6 p.m. Admission is $10 with discounts available. Call the number 309-7582 or go to gallberrycornmaze.com for details. Clue, the musical. Temple Theater, 120 Carthage Street in Sanford presents a play based on the classic board game through November 5th. Shows are Thursdays at 2 p.m., Fridays at 2 and 7:30 p.m., Saturdays at 7:30 p.m., and Sundays at 2 p.m. Tickets are $15 to $27, and you can call the number 919-774-5155 or go to templeshows.com. Next, they have the Odd Couple, Sampson Community Theater, 115 Fayetteville Street, Clinton. presents a female version of the classic play through October the 29th. Shows are today, Saturday, and October 27th and 28th at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday and October the 29th at 2:30 p.m. Tickets are $10, and you can call the number 592-8653. The Quilt Show. And look on the bright side, Quilt Show is scheduled today and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Dennis Wicker Civic Center, 1801 Nash Street in Sanford. Admission is $6. Under 12, admitted free. Go to heartsandhandsnc.org. Halloween Pub Run. Fleet Feet Runner Spot 1221 Hay Street is hosting a 2.5-mile run and walk starting at 6:30 p.m. Halloween attire welcome. You can call the number 758-9127 for more information pertaining to the Halloween Pub Run. On Saturday, Fairmount Farmers Festival begins at 10 a.m. in downtown Fairmont. Activities include a parade, pageant, arts and crafts, music, and food. Check Facebook for details. An arts lecture. Sully Martin, professor of visual arts at Fayetteville State University, will present the lecture Robert Motherwell, Influences and Themes at 2 p.m. at an exhibition of Motherwell's work at the Ellington White Contemporary Gallery, 113 Gillespie Street. The exhibition continues through December the 2nd. Gallery hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can call the number 483-1388 or go to ellington-white.com. The next they have the Sorghum Festival. An old school Sorghum Festival is scheduled from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 11233 Boykin Bridge Road in Roseboro. It includes bluegrass and gospel music vendors, collectibles, and a Rating Ann and Andy exhibit. You can call the number 910-564-5069 or go to oldschoolsorghum.com. Again, that number is 910-564-5069. Folk Art. The Blading Barrel Art Gallery, 818 Street. Art Gallery 818 South Main Street is featuring a folk art exhibit by Paula Blizzard and Danny K. Blizzard through December 31st. It includes painting on wood, glass, metal, rocks, and pottery. Hours are from 2 to 4 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. The admission is free, and you can call the number 910-633-7982. That number is again 910-633-7982. The Nation Band performs starting at 8 p.m. at the Doghouse Bar and Grill. That address is 30490 Owen Drive, and you can call the number 323-2400 or check Facebook for details. On Sunday, the Surly Gentlemen. The band performs at the Rooster's Wife, 114 Knight Street in Aberdeen. Doors open at 6 p.m. for the 6:45 show. Tickets are the price of $15, and you can call the number 944-7502 or go to theroosterwife.org. Again, that phone number is 944-7502. History Hike. Carvers Creek State Park, 2505 Long Valley Road in Spring Lake is offering a 3-mile hike to view the park's historic farm buildings and other structures starting at 2 p.m. Meet in front of the park office, and you can call the number 436-4681 for more information. That number is again 436-4681. Within the runs, the band performs at the Drunk Horse Pub, 106 Southeastern Boulevard. The tickets are the price of $13, and it is $15. Hold on, let me get an understanding of this. The tickets are $13 and $15, and the doors open at 6 p.m. Check Facebook for details. Old Growth Hike, Wayment Woods, Sand Hills Nature Preserve, 1024 Fort Bragg Road in Southern Pines hosts a hike to view old growth, including a 469-year-old long life pine. Starting at 3 p.m. Meet at the Den Road, access at the Boyd Track, and you can call the number 692-2167 or go to ntparks.gov. And that number again is 692-2167 or go to ncparks.gov.
Okay, truck driver killed trying to avoid collision. Lumberton, the driver of a tractor trailer was killed Tuesday after swerving to avoid hitting a car on NC 20 at Sutton Road in Robeson County, the Highway Patrol said. The wreck happened at 5:27 p.m. about a mile west of the Bladen County line, according to a report filed by Trooper A.M. Humphrey. Timothy Bernard Williams, 45, of Fairmont, driving a 2007 Freightliner truck, was traveling east toward Bladen County on North Carolina 20 highway when a 2006 Ford Fusion driven by Alfredo Alon Vasquez, 34, of Blue Street in St. Paul's, turned left from Sutton Road and entered the truck's path, the report said. Williams swerved left of center to try and avoid the crash, but hit the Fusion, the report said. The truck loaded with 99 pounds of frozen poultry products ran off the road, overturned, and hit a tree. Williams, who was pinned in, was pronounced dead at the scene. A small fire started between the cab and trailer, but it was put out before it could spread, a Highway Patrol spokesman said. The tractor trailer was registered to Coastal Container Express Inc. in Wilmington. NC 20 was shut down for about 3 hours between Landfill Road and Robeson County and Pages Lake Road in Bladen County. Vasquez, who was not injured, was charged with misdemeanor death by vehicle for failing to yield.
And if you didn't find any interest in any of the upcoming events that I previously announced, there is more. Live music Friday today, Cypress Bend Vineyards is Wagram the Sand Band, 7 to 10 p.m. Gates open at 6. Admission $15 per person. Must be 21 years or older. You can contact the number 369-0411. The Cruise-In today, 5 to 8 p.m. Max breakfast anytime. Aberdeen. Doors open. A 50-50 drawing. Oldies music sponsored by Max and Sand Hills Classic Street Rod Association. Proceeds benefit Carthage Food Pantry and Sand Hills Teen Challenge. You can contact the number 910-639-1494 for more information pertaining to the Cruise-In. The Sunshine Boys through Sydney at Owens Auditorium, Pinehurst. Don Most and Robert World star in the Judson Theater productions of Neil Simon's play. Showtimes and tickets available at judsontheater.com. The Fayetteville Technical Community College Foundation Gala today, 6 p.m. Tony Rand Student Center, Fayetteville Technical Community College, 2201 Hall Road. Entertainment, catered dinner, beverages, and awards, $100 per person. For more information pertaining to the FTCC Foundation Gala, you can contact the number 678-8441 or email ricottal@faytechcc.edu. Bander Pig Cook-Off today and Saturday, 128 Rock Hill Road. Anything but barbecue contest is 6 to 8 p.m. today. Cook-off judging, plate sale, music vendors, and Cruise-In is Saturday, 483-2858. Holly Arts and Crafts Festival, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pinehurst Arts Crafts Food Court Kids Zone, free shuttle service from Pinehurst Elementary to Fayetteville. Next week, you have the Phantom of the Opera, Thursday, from 7, starts at 7 p.m. Carolina Civic Center, Lumberton. A screening of the 925 horror classic, accompanied by live organ music, followed by some of the region's best vocalists performing selections from Andrew Lloyd Webner's hit musical. Tickets is $10 to $25, and the number is 910-738-4339. That's the number you can call for more information. Monster Mash Bash, October 27th through 7. Starts at 7:30 p.m. at Dirtbag Alice. The address is 3623 Legion Road, and there's a costume and karaoke party. Special L prizes for best costume and best karaoke performance. There is numerous events, but I'll make this the last one. Friday night, Rooster's Wife, October the 27th. Seth Walker performs. Doors open at 6 p.m. Popular night spot, 114 Knight Street, Aberdeen, 944-752 or theroosterswife.org, and you can contact either that phone number or you can search that website for more information pertaining to the Friday night Rooster's Wife. This concludes our reading of the Fayetteville Observer. Your radio hosts have been Bobby Hardy and Jessica. At 4 p.m. you can hear Off the Bookshelf. Additionally, you will hear a rebroadcast of today's Fayetteville Observer.